slipperiness and the option to 1-3-1 with the LeBlanc, and then they have Reckless in the bottom side and an ample engage from this team from Fnatic.
Young generation looking for their first win.
And push it in, so I think a little bit of a failure there in terms of the aggressive play that we were looking to see.
There's the chain of corruption, there's the charm, there's the quickness, there's the jump in. Broxah joins the fray as well. That is a very dead Draven.
Four-man bottom, didn't need it, fat, but we still see sOAZ coming in with the ultimate, and that was just the chain CC. They lost control of the bottom side of the map, and that's exactly what you want to see from Fnatic. And they just shut down those adoration stacks, like you were saying. There was that Draven nerf where he loses even more.
He does. It might even be first tower blood down towards that bottom side as well.
But now we see 3 people mid as a potential counter from Young Generation. They're going to try to go for the second clap.
The ward there actually spots them as they come around. Caps knocked back, flash hook, Pallet. That's another kill onto Caps. Pallet will secure it. TP coming in from sOAZ to try and save the tower. Meanwhile, bottom lane tower does fall. Fnatic with 1,000 gold ahead. And it looks like Young is going to be joined up by Reckless and by Jez is looking for a tower.
Yeah, there's 3 people, 3 on the top side here, 4 counting the Sejuani coming in. Now they're looking for Caps.
Gets knocked back, the hook doesn't connect.
Oh.
As Pallet was expecting the flash away from Caps, but I think he was still stunned up.
Was still stunned up there. But they'll be able to get some damage on that mid turret and take that down, but they're trading that top turret for it.
They do lose the top tower, but mid lane tower opens up so much more of the map. Naul is having a great game. Pallet's roaming around really well as well. If Young Generation can continue to put pressure on...
Back to that strategy of, hey, go bottom, then we can go top. And it's funny, because we were talking about this beforehand, where mid is important, and bottom is like the second most important, because once you get that bottom turret, you can swap it to top turret, right? But then you go from there. What objectives have you opened up? But look at this. I talked about the lack of flashes earlier. They're going to go for it now.
Doesn't quite get the connection. Explosive cast knocks him back, but the charm is going to land in the end as BigKoro caught up, overextended in the top lane, and will eventually fall to Broxah. Reckless was trying to get the kill for himself, and Broxah just swiped away the hammer.
He doesn't get an assist there, but time is of the essence here when Caps is getting bodied in the mid lane here by so many people. He's just trying to buy time. There's 4 people here. This would actually be an advantage if they get this turret. For Young Generation, trading a turret for a kill is worth it for them because they don't actually lose anything else in terms of structures.
2 towers in the mid lane, a gold lead for Young Generation 15 minutes in. Coming into this game, there was no one, I think, out of any of our analysts thinking that this would be the case. Fnatic have struggled against this early game composition coming out from Young Generation. They are going to go for the Rift Herald though, and that basically secures you a mid lane.
In League of Legends, right? If somebody is picking up this is absurd amount, it's got to come from somewhere else.
Oh, beauty, Venus!
And from Venus, it's coming from Broxah's pocket.
Oh, that was so pretty to watch. United joined so much quicker.
Yeah, he's gonna maybe try and get mid priority, but there's TP already, and they got the TP out now from Caps.
Infernal Drake's still there.
There's so much engaged from Fnatic. There's so much engaged. I don't know if you can walk even close to this. They're so scared. Yeah, exactly. You have to watch out for that. Venus still got hit by it.
Does manage to get away, but Fnatic will take their just desserts in the form of an Infernal Dragon.
We talked about they have the Glacial Prison, but they also have things like the ultimate from Reckless.
He's got a hook onto Broxah as well. The chain of corruption is going to come down. There's the quickness from Jez as he tries to lock him up. Caps jumps in, but knocked back by Ren. Good body buff from him. Jez goes low. BigKoro is now opening up the axes. He's chucking them into the back of sOAZ and secures himself a kill. I think I saw 329 extra gold for him as well.
Nice. Caps. Looking for Venus, though. He wanted to be able to burst him, but remember, LeBlanc takes a little more time for that.
That's not the sort of play you expect to see
Baron?
From someone who's gone 0-2 in lane. And Young Generation could call for the Baron. Ren is there.
It's a bait. Ren still has Body Slam Flash. Oh, Pallet!
Flash from Pallet. Broxah gets body bopped up. Naul's going to get the scat of the week as well, and that is a very dead Sejuani.
They killed the jungler. They killed the top laner. Now, they ended up getting off of that. Naul got mana back from having the Morellos. Now they can start this up. They just have to avoid the engage. But remember, stand united.
Well, they've still killed Broxah, and perhaps they've killed the hopes of EU. Caps jumping in. Here goes Jez's as well. Baron down to 2,000. Ren gets jumped out of the pit. The Baron falls. It's gone to Young Generation, and they've still got members alive. Jez is so low, but 3 members have died. And it's only Naul and Ren who will escape to the backside.
That was bold from Fnatic. In Sejuani range there. If he has Q up, QR, 100% you can hit him there. But decides it's better to save that in case. Is this a base race?
Oh, it'd be beautiful if it was. It looks like Fnatic are just going to get one turret, but they might lose their inhibitor tower here. Caps is backing. Baron is going to help them push in. BigKoro, Pallet, and Naul going to be able to break the inhibitor line, and Venus is doing a great job of keeping Fnatic alive. Fnatic actually going to chase back onto Venus, but this is an inhibitor gone. For Fnatic, they will get a kill onto the Nidalee, but how much have they lost for this? Venus is still escaping. Eventually, they'll knock him, but he's going to get away. Not quite enough. They kill him. What more could... As we're coming into this game, we talked about compositions. We said, sOAZ might get caught out in the top lane. Pallet comes in, but here is the damage from the unleashed power. sOAZ flashes the wall, but you cannot flash away from the biggest Koro on Young Generation. Now, the only big Koro as well. Into this, we said Young Generation have an early game composition. They want to get this pressure down. They've done that, but the gold is still pretty even with Fnatic. Can Fnatic now start to scale up into the late?
I just think it's Fnatic's basics on CS is just what's keeping them in this game. And then they've had really good fights. And right now, we're seeing Caps try to get something here. That's still hit.
No vision in the bush, though, and here comes the TP from Ren. Young Generation might take this because it's a split Fnatic. They have to back away in all different directions. And eventually they will be able to escape. Young Generation to get away as 5.
That is some really good patience there from Young Generation. They know that sOAZ could have Stand United and teleport. Is what they want.
BigKoro will be able to secure that one for himself. Mid inhib is still down, of course, which is why Fnatic have to be much more on the back foot because Young Generation push forward. Looks like Fnatic are going for another base race here, trying to trade mid tower for this tier 2.
Well, when you're base racing against super minions, I feel like that's not a race.
Just better calls from Young Generation. They are playing the map better than Fnatic at the moment, and Fnatic are not reacting.
And now what happens is you get the Cloud Drake for free after getting that tier 2 turret. Reckless has to back up because they might just be able to come straight through the river. And now this vision will get denied afterwards if they clear it up.
Super good play from Young Generation, definitely stepping up as the second representatives from GPL. Jez is engaged, double charm. Here comes Broxah from the flank as well, and we see Fnatic start to collapse. Stand United onto Reckless, but BigKoro is still free to pound away from the backside. Glacial Prism, that's Smithy channeling his inner kills off towards the side as Caps jumps in as well. But Young Generation able to disengage as Fnatic do not find the pick they want.
Now you get to keep throwing spears, keep trying to poke, keep trying to land something here, and then force them out. And you can see right there, they have to back up. Caps, though, looking for damage on Naul.
Doesn't really have that much damage at the moment. sOAZ is in such a strange position down towards the bottom side of this fight.
Yeah, it would clear the minion wave, and it would force Young Generation to move towards him, which then 1,000 on Venus. Right now, there's more spent gold on Fnatic's side, and they are looking for the Fnatic brush.
Gonna see if they can set up around Young Generation. Here they go from the side. Broxah jumps in, looking for Pallet. That Thresh still very tanky though as they knock Fnatic back. Young Generation perhaps want the re-engage now as Ren goes to the front line. A charm from Jez is a 5-man charm. The knockup. BigKoro still alive and he's gonna pound away on Caps. Ren dead, 2 dead from Young Generation. Fnatic able to collapse, able to get the fight they wanted.
And Naul with a beautiful scout of the week there, but it still wasn't enough. And Fnatic are now on the inside track to the Baron to give themselves an advantage.
And this Baron will be exactly what Fnatic wanted, exactly what the doctor ordered for them. Them hearts were stopping beating there. They were going into asystole, but the diagnosis was death for Ren as Pallet and him died in that last fight. The Baron for Fnatic will be secured, and they will be able to look to push towards the base of Young Generation.
You hear the cheers. Give his team that advantage, because right now this is just a Baron that allows the waves to push up and get fed to the enemy team. Yeah, sOAZ looking for the flank here, and this will be a turret going down, as they have to respect it.
Have to respect the ability to flank in the TP that could come in from Caps.
Whoa,
with the
no!
Unleashed power!
Blasted!
There is a new fragrance on Summoner's Rift. It's bodied by Naul in this game. Get one every Worlds. This time Naul brings it down.
I mean, Naul could be just the person who's giving it out, because now he's got a ton of essence of Caps to give.
Naul the clone as Young Generation once again get the pick, and it's something you do not want to see from your rookie mid laner. Over-aggressive plays, not respecting the enemy mid. Naul is someone who wasn't really known that much before this tournament. Imagine if that was Faker. Imagine if that was Bjergsen or Jensen. Naul is bodying him. How much more could anyone else? And Fnatic now looking down.
this is going to pay off in spades because once you get these wards down, Baron up in 1 minute and 45 seconds, these will last until you go and try to get that Baron.
Caps went down towards bot to clear it out. He is backing now, so he will be with the team, but perhaps it's too little too late as Young Generation can push towards this tower. sOAZ there, Broxah with the flank as well.
You got to do something now. There's 20 seconds though on Jez's ultimate. Broxah.
Onto Broxah, chain of corruption comes out, sOAZ trying to get onto Naul, but meanwhile BigKoro is still alive in the backline. sOAZ down to half, Fnatic holding on to this tower with their lives.
A pause as BigKoro is stepping forward and
I think you're right to a certain degree because Young Generation, they're putting on a performance.
Oh, they are.
You know, much stronger than they looked earlier in the day, but luckily we're going to continue to see that performance as we get back in the game.
And immediately, Chain of Corruption's going to come out onto Pallet. There's the Glacial Prism as well. The fight is started, but a great stun with the Scatter of the Weak. The knockback as well. Unleash power onto Reckless, sOAZ and Broxah in the midst of the fray. Jess is there as well. Young Generation on the front foot, trying to catch onto Caps, who has got the chains down. The hook lands as well. Now Young Generation realize they cannot take any more of this action. And back away from Fnatic. Caps not done. Says hello to BigKoro.
welcome back everyone. So, the game's
Something that we see very commonly on the Varus and on Kog'Maw. It works incredibly well as a combination, but BigKoro has 4 items as well. Fnatic now stepping into the unknown, unaware that Naul was around the corner, and some good damage onto sOAZ and onto Jezz, who is one of the primary engage tools, of course, for this Fnatic lineup. The pause hasn't seemed to affect either of these two teams as they are both
Ren TP behind. He was looking for it. It's gonna come down.
Here we go. The TP
Here's the
behind,
fight.
no vision. Here comes Ren. The chain's gonna land, but Ren jumps straight in, knocks Reckless in the wrong way, and now Ren is actually caught off at the back. Young Generation trying to get to their top laner, but he is left out to dry. Reckless gets the kill. Caps jumps onto BigKoro, double chains, but BigKoro turns it right back around in his face, and Caps has to jump away.
The fact that Ren went in and then he messed up the combo. Reckless didn't have
Clear out the vision, and they start it up. Caps off towards the side, looking for the flank. Once
Naul
jumps in with the Banshees, but here comes the Unleashed
Oh
power.
my God!
Caps stands united, just saves him though, and still Fnatic on the Baron. Are they going to do this? Because Caps has TP. Caps come back. Here comes sOAZ. He's
Venus hit him with
teleported
a
in.
spear. He's
2,000
going in.
HP. Venus jumps in, but they target him down. He doesn't quite get it as Broxah secures it. Now Fnatic still looking for the fight as Pallet perhaps is caught out here. Caps coming in with a teleport, and Pallet knocked up. He's going to get taken down as well. The stun into the damage from Reckless. A kill for Fnatic, a Baron as well. And perhaps that is the game for the European representatives.
Remember, this quickness is now down to about a 60-second cooldown. This thing is fast in terms of how fast quickly it comes back. It's 48-second cooldown. Ridiculous that he can keep doing these engages every 3/4 of a minute.
Fnatic will start up the Elder Dragon Ren there. We've seen steals of Dragons and Barons alike. sOAZ standing in the bush, gets warded up. The hook lands as well. sOAZ did use the taunt as well as he jumps through Ren. There's the Chain of Corruption. Jezz is going to jump in. Broxah with the Glacial Prism does hit onto Pallet, but he's pretty darn tanky on that Thresh. And now Fnatic, having burnt a lot of their ultimates, needs to be cautious about staying around. Reckless is all by himself here. Caps has a flank.
Yeah, Caps went over to try and flank. They're pushing sOAZ up to the top side. Caps now on the left side of this fight. That's a low Elder Dragon. It's below half. There could be bursts coming through and it resets.
It resets, you can hear the audience.
But not completely. They're walking away. Venus is now, they're gonna try to burst it.
Venus can't quite get there. Broxah does secure it, and now sOAZ is looking for the flank. Has the flash, has the taunt. 3 members of Young Generation lining up for him. Caps lands the chains onto Naul, and there's the taunt. That is a shot down on to the Syndra, and Young Generation just able to escape from Jezz's. Caps still has that flank position. Koro, Zonius keeps him alive, but Koro will escape to the top side. And Fnatic need to just accept that they got the Elder Drake and look for a push.
Yeah, Caps there. That's that first death for Naul because they went all in on him without those summoner spells that Jezz has gotten. Oh my God, sOAZ got so much HP from that with the Spirit Visage.
And Fnatic from nowhere have now got a 7,000 gold lead. They're going to break 2 inhibitors here. Young Generation haven't collapsed, but Fnatic have been able to take advantages, being able to pick off 1 member and snowball that away from the Young Generation squad.
Now they'll get this second inhibitor here. And that opens up so much for them. Like you said, the game was close, but then that Baron went over to Fnatic after the skirmish, and then they had that team fight just now at the Baron. this area for 3+ minutes. You know there's nothing here from Young Generation. It's completely dark, no flank wards, nothing. They're gonna have to face check, walk up, and it's super risky, but here's the teleport.
Ren's teleporting in. Young Generation looking for a final foray into battle against Fnatic. Hook onto Broxah, not the target they wanted, but still, Fnatic have not
TP bot.
the Drake.
sOAZ gonna try to split. They saw him TP away, and there's a big wave there, and sOAZ still has Syndra to get back in, so he's gonna pull Ren here, but Ren can't actually just stay here because he would have to match the teleports. This is Fnatic trying to play the map. Yeah, this is exactly what they're doing. They're trying to pull them thin. The Syndra isn't there. There's the TP.
TP from Caps. Venus is here, has landed a spear on the Baron, down to 6,000. He's looking for the steal. Jezzes there in the front line. That's going to be a Baron for Fnatic. Great play from them to pull apart Young Generation's defense.
Yeah, it required Naul to stay there. And because he wasn't up at Baron, they were able to take it pretty easily. And so good macro play from Fnatic with an advantage. It's easier to pull off those macro plays when you have an advantage, but it's good to see that they leverage it, because you saw Young Generation with Barons, with the map advantage, not be able to grow that over Fnatic because they were scared of the engage.
It's good to think that they were still able to think about these plays, considering how long that pause was and how much it must have weighed on their minds. Still in a position where they're not fatigued, they still have a lot more left in the tank in this game against Young Generation. Young Generation perhaps looking a little bit worse for wear as Fnatic now push in with the Baron towards this inhibitor tower in the top. BigKoro, Venus, Pallet, Naul defend.
Inhibitor's coming back up now, and you can see the 1-3-1 still in place for Fnatic, the slippery LeBlanc, and then the 3 members on the top side. And yep, just keep doing this.
Inhib is down to half, sOAZ joins it up as well. Still that inhibitor down in the bottom lane, so they can look for this 2-man stack. No minion wave there yet, but Caps takes a chunk of HP from BigKoro, who has forgone boots in his build, going for a GA instead.
Caps on the bottom side now, and they're just rotating around. That top has been a little bit difficult for them to break, but they're just getting damage and chip damage on these inhibitors. Mid already falls, and now this bottom one is looking as well.
Just League of Legends by numbers for Fnatic here, and they are painting in the happy little trees.
Still, I believe, give you a little bit more here.
Ren caught out, dodge from Caps. Explosive Cast was channeled as well as Ren now looking for the chase, but the jump away from Caps. And now we'll see Fnatic going for a fight on the other side. Chain of Corruption lands, there's a Glacial Prism as well, all onto Pallet. sOAZ goes in, Jezzes trying to connect. Blue Inhibitors dies in the bottom lane as Caps takes it down. Now he's going to join the fight. sOAZ, a great format stun, and Moon's power kills Reckless, but Caps is just going for the Nexus towers here. Fnatic have been forced back. Caps looking to see if he can win this game.
Yeah, they got to stop him on these Nexus turrets. They might lose one here with the damage from the creeps. Venus getting pulled in from Pallet, and he snaps back to try to finish it, and Naul!
He gets it, can't quite take down Naul though, and Ren doesn't land the body slam, but the stun does connect. Caps jumps in with the Zhonya's, but Fnatic have lost their 2 carries now, and Young Generation have held onto this game.
They lost their carries, but there are super minions pouring into the base. They have to kind of do their due diligence here, take these down. 4-man scatter the weak. It stunned Reckless. Reckless had to go for a cleanse to get out of it, and then he flashed forward and burst
No
it.
way.
They're gonna try to end. They are done with this game.
No way, Zyrene, do they close this out? Chain of Corruption comes in, Fnatic trying to fight it back. Young Generation still alive. BigKoro is down into the GA. Ren's there, they don't have any more damage. Naul trying to do what he can. BigKoro survives the McHugh. Scimitar the knockback onto Broxah. A great locket though, and Pallet lands the hook. Young Generation realize they can't do it because Caps is respawning. Fnatic aren't gonna let them go without a fight, but Naul blocks them off once again. Broxah has flash here. He will look for the engage from the side. Minions in the bottom lane pushing in. There's a huge wave down there.
Get back.
One Nexus tower. Can they get back? Can they get to the Nexus?
As soon as they get back, though, they don't have the firepower to kill this off and heal simultaneously. They have to do it fast, and there's 30 seconds on the Elder Dragon.
They will escape. It's up to Ren as well to get away here because Caps is trying to chase him down. He realizes
he's spotted. He's dead.
He's on a ward. Is he dead though? We've seen Caps misplay today. It's up to Ren to try and dodge around. The chains connect and Caps jumps in. Goodbye, Ren, says Caps, as eventually he will get the kill on towards this Gragas.
Keeping him alive for as long as possible to delay his death timer. This means that he's stuck, and now it's not already ticking. He wanted to die a little earlier than this.
will eventually go down, though. Caps does secure the kill. Elder Drake up in 2 seconds. Fnatic, though, could just look for the 4v5 in mid. Caps teleporting in towards that bottom lane. One inhibitor is alive still for Young Generation in that top side. One Nexus tower between Fnatic and the win that they so desperately desire in this game.
Yeah, and they have 60 seconds of a 4v5. They don't care about the Elder Dragon right now. They care about pushing up and trying to win this game. We're seeing more item swaps. GA swapped out for Death's Dance for BigKoro.
It's up to him, it's up to Naul, it's up to Venus, who has a death cap of his own. The knockback minion's not quite there. The stun, though, is going to land onto Venus. BigKoro chased off towards the side. There's the charm. BigKoro Scimitar a little bit too early, but it's still BigKoro surviving. sOAZ
Reckless ending the game.
Unleashed Tower. Reckless says, I don't care about your kills. I want a Nexus. The best 50 gold he secured this game.
Reckless ends the game with the team pushing forward, and really the team play there from Fnatic to understand what to do once their enemy had misplayed. The fact that they tried to end the game, Young Generation got...